Man is not disturbed by things, but by the view he takes of them. Epictetus. Imagine you catch a common cold, nothing serious. You go to the doctor and they prescribe antibiotics to improve your symptoms. A few days later, you wake up completely paralyzed. How would you react? What would be the quality of your mind? This wasn't a hypothetical nightmare. It was the reality for the renowned philosopher Jiddu Krishnamurti. Jiddu Krishnamurti experienced an illness in Kashmir, India, that resulted in month-long paralysis caused by an antibiotic overdose, a medical error. In the face of this debilitating condition, Krishnamurti embraced a remarkable attitude of acceptance. He surrendered to reality without resistance, saying, "Yes, all right, I will now be paralyzed for the rest of my life." Krishnamurti highlights how common reactions like frustration, anger, or blaming the doctors would have been a form of struggle against the illness. This struggle, rather than helping, would only intensify the suffering. Instead of fighting, Krishnamurti chose to play with his illness. This suggests an attitude of openness and learning, seeking to understand the experience without judgment or a desire for it to be otherwise. This profound story hides within not only the key to unlocking freedom from unnecessary suffering, but also teaches us about the true nature of consciousness. Or as Haruki Murakami would say, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Now, what is the difference between pain and suffering? Could this distinction hold a key to understanding consciousness? Pain is a sensation like the sensation of having a stomachache. Everyone is destined to face physical pain. After all, it would be dangerous if we did not. Imagine if you ate something poisonous and felt nothing. Chances are you would be dead in a few hours. Pain tries to tell you something, to act, to look at it, find the cause, and solve it. Now, suffering is the thought that comes on top of the sensation. Thoughts like, my day is ruined because of this stomachache. What if this is something more serious? Or how long will I be sick for? That's what creates suffering. Just like the story of Krishnamurti, pain is the raw sensation that comes with paralysis. Suffering is the story we create about the pain, the struggle, and resistance. My life has ended. I will never be independent again. It is the stupid doctor's fault. I wish I could walk again. Suffering is the burning rejection of what is, a resistance to reality. It is the desperate wish for things to be otherwise. Isn't this the very fire that makes us feel alive? This raises a profound question. Does the human capacity for suffering suggest two states of consciousness? One state seems to be the neutral observation of what is, and the other is entangled in the stories and projections our minds create. Eckhart Tolle thought that the primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation but your thoughts about it. Let's assume I am diagnosed with terminal cancer and have 1 month to live. This is an event that would cause enormous suffering for most people. Yet, what if I am not thinking about it? What if I am constantly present, not dwelling in an imaginary future? Is there a problem then? Not really. In this perspective, any problem isn't inherently a problem. It's merely a projection of our mind, a product of thought and time. Could then our understanding of thought and time not only help us understand the enigma of consciousness, but also redefine our approach to mental well-being? Again, this question was addressed in the fine words of Nisargadatta Maharaj, who said, "I am not the body, I am not even the mind. Then what am I? You must find out." Imagine experiencing only bodily sensations or outside events without any added layer of thought. You may lose your job, your partner may leave you, and your pet may die. You simply observe. No thinking involved. Would you still be you? In other words, if all that exists is a neutral observation of the present moment, is there still an identity? Someone observing something? Not really. If there is no duality or separation between the experience and the experiencer, there is only pure experience. This is why the French philosopher René Descartes famously said, "Cogito ergo sum," which translates into, "I think, therefore I exist." Thinking creates identity, which in turn generates suffering. Many Eastern traditions suggest that true consciousness resides in a state of pure presence, a neutral observation of both internal sensations and external world events. This state is free from the ego's constant need to label, judge, and resist. This timeless state offers a pure, undistorted experience of reality, wisdom that transcends the individual. Much like a clean mirror reflecting all that is, this wisdom exists in the present moment, always direct, instant, and fresh. Yet that inner mirror, which is the source of wisdom, is never truly clean. It's clouded with the dust of thought, time, and the past. We never see things as they are, we see them as we are. Yet, what if we no longer are? How can we touch that pure conscious state of being that knows no suffering? How can we reach the ground of being and wisdom itself? Osho said it best when he said, "All the Buddhas of all the ages have been telling you a very simple fact. Be, don't try to become." Within these two words, be and becoming, your whole life is contained. Being is enlightenment, becoming is ignorance. To enter this state of pure awareness, we must understand time and the urge to become. Here I'm not referring to physical time, but psychological time. So what is time in this context? Ambition is time. Goals are time. Hope is time. Thinking about the past is time. Demanding things to be a certain way is time. Seeking is time. Practicing to get a reward is time. The will to become something better in the future is time. All that comprises our identity is again time. When you travel to create and cling to new memories, that's again time. That is the very source of mental suffering, to be a prisoner of time. It was Krishnamurti who said, "We are becoming something all the time. I am not this, but I will be that. I am not good, but I will be better." You understand? So this movement of becoming, please understand this, this feeling of becoming is the movement of thought in time. Whatever is born dies. Whatever has come together falls apart. Everything moves towards an end. Therefore, remain serene. The Bhagavad Gita. What he's trying to say is, this constant movement of thought, this drive within the field of time, sows the seeds of suffering. Time implies impermanence. Everything is born, grows, decays, and dies. When we operate from this time-bound consciousness, nothing lasts. Everything is destined to end. Naturally, this leads to an underlying fear of loss. All pleasures and joys arising within the field of time are fleeting. Deep down, we all know this, so we cling, become attached, and possessive, refusing to accept the reality that our sources of joy will inevitably be taken away. There's an evolutionary advantage to this. When nothing lasts, we are pushed to move forward, progress, and evolve through seeking. Imagine if our ancestors were permanently content. Would they have built modern civilization or even have the urge to reproduce and progress in time? Then again, it is really progress if one is moving towards a cliff? Well, that's a question for another video. What is important to understand here is that this time-bound human consciousness, which we all operate from, is inherently dissatisfied and will never be satisfied by design. The wise understand the deathless state, the law of truth that never ages. Dhammapada. On the other hand, the timeless space of awareness holds qualities of permanence, inner peace, love, freedom, and beauty. These qualities exist regardless of external circumstances or causes. Someone abiding in this state isn't peaceful because of a nice house or a healthy family. They are peace itself. Just as the ocean's depths remain undisturbed by surface storms, Krishnamurti's inner peace was not conditional on his physical well-being. Likewise, someone living in a state of pure awareness is not in love because their spouse brings security. They are the complete embodiment of love itself. They aren't free because they lack external constraints. They are freedom itself. This freedom, defying the limits of even complete paralysis, arises from a source unknown to the world of events, untouched by the turbulence of the outer realm. And when one constantly abides in this state, there's no urge to become, to progress, to change, because everything is perfect as it is. And paradoxically, it's from this state of acceptance, this openness to whatever comes our way, that understanding arises. Understanding then becomes the catalyst for change, a change that always begins within. When that happens, thought in the psychological realm and its companion, time, dissolve. Only then is every moment filled with beauty. For beauty is not in the eyes of the beholder. Beauty reveals itself when the beholder is not. Drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it is the axis on which the world earth revolves, slowly, evenly, without rushing toward the future. Thish Nhat Hanh. To be patient and not rush, to act without expectations, to refrain from demanding things to be a certain way, to avoid fighting or competing, and to be absolutely devoted to something. None of these are bound by time. To allow things to come and go as they please, to accept, to surrender, to feel, to watch, to hear, and to smell without the interference of words, this too exists beyond time. This is reality. Everything else is mere imagination. That's what time is, living trapped inside our own heads. Most of us live in that manner, hence we do not live at all. Then we seek practices bound in time in an attempt to escape time itself, seeking ways to end our suffering. Unknowingly, we remain trapped in this cycle. We meditate, we pray, and perform rituals to avoid time, but even these practices exist within its domain. Every action that seeks a reward creates a future, and therefore we operate within that future. The reality is deceptively simple. Accept things as they are. Act without expectations or attachment to results, and let go of all beliefs and conclusions you hold about life. These too are products of time. Open up your heart and play the cards you are given as if you have chosen them. That is what it means to touch the ground of timelessness and immortality. Be empty. Be nobody. Only then can you be everything.